This week on the PSPremiere Podcast, Mitch takes a shot at Seb.
But he just looks awful. I can't stand looking at him.
Mitch puts on some sunglasses. And Mitch describes his ideal man.
A giant 10-foot tall buff dude with a giant metal claw.
Hello and welcome to the 31st episode of the PSPremiere Podcast. We upload a new episode of this podcast every week, so if you like this, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast feed, give us a rating on Apple Tunes, all that good stuff. I'm your host, James Smith, and today I'm joined by series regulars all across the board, starting with Dory.
Hi, I'm Dory. I go by she, her pronouns, and I am coming at you live from the place in which I live. Very exciting, right? You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Declare192, and happy to be here.
And also, hopefully, Mitch.
Hello, I am Mitch. You can find me on Twitter at MitchUp1012 if the storm doesn't wipe Australia off the planet.
I hope not. Seb,
I hope not either. No.
Hi, I'm Sebastian. I got my stimulus check this week, so I'm feeling real good right now.
Hey.
But I already spent all of it. You can follow me at Little793.
Great. Now, before we get to what we've been playing, we did want to just say quickly that PlayStation put out a tweet just the other day saying, and I quote, "We are troubled by a recent pattern of violence targeting the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. It's time to take action." In response to the horrific shootings in Atlanta on March 17th, which targeted Asian American women. We don't have a huge audience here, but we felt it necessary to reinforce Sony's messaging on this point and say that our hearts go out to the friends and families of the victims and everyone who has to live in fear of these atrocities every day. So we'll include some links in the description where you can lend your support to the appropriate organizations. And with that out of the way, Seb, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a lot. Let me start with the Gears 5, which I just beat an hour ago. It's typical Gears. It plays just like any other game, but it does have like these like open world vehicle sections, which I feel like, to me, they feel like they're tacked on, honestly. Like they really dragged the game out with that. Especially trying to get all the collectibles, which is a real pain in the ass.
The open world areas with the ski, the snowmobile kind of.
Yeah, I know they're trying to do something new with the series, but there's too many of them, and the map was too large. It just dragged it out. Yeah,
those were the weakest parts of the game for me. Like the first and fourth act were the peak, but that's when they were like strictly linear.
Yeah, especially the last, like, was it the third level, third world, whatever it is. There was like 100 collectibles on that map alone. That was a pain.
Insane.
Some beautiful environments in those areas, though, specifically the latter open world area with the red sand and everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that was a pain.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful, and the storms and everything were great. Although I was playing the game on ultra settings, and I was doing great all the way into the last act, and then I had to go back. I had to lower my settings to like high. Because I was just like lagging like crazy. My computer couldn't handle playing the last act on full blast for some reason. And I have a 2080 Super.
Damn.
But yeah, I don't know what it was. But yeah. So, and then I also beat Battletoads. It was like a 2 or 3 hour game. I didn't really care for it that much because the humor didn't really click with me, honestly. It tries really funny. It tries really hard to be funny and edgy, but it just doesn't work for me.
This was a game that was on Mitch's top 10
I was gonna
games
say
of
this made it
2020.
out of
Did it?
Yeah, it did. It did. Very low, but it made it onto
So
the
don't
list.
trash it too hard because its number one fan is in the room.
Yeah, no.
But I did
Watch out.
I did really enjoy the beat 'em up sections because I love beat 'em ups, and I did like the twin stick shooter sections. It was like Galaga. I like that. But I don't know. The animation was pretty clean. It looked very 4K. Especially on my screen, the colors really popped. But the animation was I don't know. It's very mediocre. It was just a very mid game.
I kind of. I mean, obviously seeing as it made it onto my Game of the Year list somehow, but I kind
Somehow.
of somehow. I mean, to be fair, I didn't play many games last year, but I can't help but feel like the cheapness of the quality kind of like added to the charm of it. At
Yeah.
least for me, like it felt very much like a Saturday morning cartoon
Yeah, I mean,
that like you'd
yeah.
watch back in the
Yeah.
early 2000s for me. But
yeah,
it had like a sort of childish little charm to it, which
yeah.
gave a little bit of nostalgia. But like, yeah, I can definitely agree with like how you think like it looks a bit cheap.
No, I see
and
what you
how
mean.
everything like
but
that works.
I see what you mean
Yeah.
with the cartoons. Yeah, I mean, it was too short to really have a negative opinion on. It was just, it's a nice.
Yeah,
it was a
like-
solid. It was okay. Like 2-3 hour experience. It wasn't like,
Yeah,
it
it was
didn't.
inoffensive.
Yeah, it didn't piss me off. Like
Yeah.
But so I also beat the Medium. It had an amazing story. But it was a very mid game in terms of gameplay. It was just very bland. It was the puzzles weren't that interesting. It was very repetitive. Like, it was constantly just like going through a mirror and solving a puzzle.
Have you finished it now? Because
Yeah, I
we
did.
talked about it before in the podcast. And
Yeah, I
think
didn't finish it back then. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you go.
Yeah, it gives me serious Silent Hill vibes because it definitely takes it definitely pays homage to like an old Silent Hill game for sure because the puzzles are just weird and you'll cut open like a leathery skin doorway like that's like very Silent Hill-ish. But it plays a lot like Until Dawn, all those David Cage games and things like that. But yeah, but it was too short for me to really have like a harsh criticism of it. You know what I mean? So it's one of it's like
I
Battletoads.
wanna.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
done.
I wanna ask you because I've a few weeks ago now, and I think I like sent it to you in one of the Discord channels. Yet you said you haven't finished it yet, so you didn't watch it. But I just want to know because I watched basically an analysis where they broke down, and I won't spoil it here, but the ending of the game, and the implications it has for people with mental health and all those sort of issues.
Yeah.
Would you say it sort of handled that well? Because like from what I've seen, they didn't handle it well. Like they actually sent a bit of a iffy message, but I just want to see what you think.
I don't know if it handled it well. I mean, nothing jumped out at me as like offensive, so I really don't know.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay. I mean, like, I won't say it here, but like, yeah, because like I think at least the video I watched when he put it into context, I'm like, oh yeah, no.
I mean, yeah,
Don't say that, but like, I mean, yeah.
it does. Yeah,
That's just one.
Yeah, it does handle
video
some
though,
serious
so.
topics like sexual abuse and things like that.
Yeah. Like I'll tell you like what it said later, but yeah. I just wanted to know what your thoughts on it were.
Yeah,
But
but it's so I thought the story was great, honestly, but it was just held back by mediocre gameplay. Like, but it's worth playing for the game, for the story just alone. Because like I said, it's too short to really have a negative opinion on. I also beat Evil Within 2 this week. So another survival horror game. I don't know if I like it better than the first one because the first one was more survival horror. This one is very action packed, I would say.
they're two very different games, like
Yeah.
tonally and stylistically or aesthetically.
Yeah.
Like
Because I know Shinji Mikami wasn't the director of this one; he was the producer. So you definitely feel the difference. If you didn't know, Shinji is the guy that made Resident Evil and the first Evil Within. Like it does have stealth moments, and it does have like horror, like of course, like there's elements where you have to stealth by like an enemy, and there's a big open world big open world, but there's like open world sections a lot, and there's like side quests and things like that. But I mean, it didn't blow me away. Like the gameplay, it was just it was pretty. I don't know, it's pretty average, I guess. But the story, I loved. The story was great. I mean, like his relationship with the wife and the daughter. I won't go into details, but I thought that was fantastic. I thought the climax and the resolution was fantastic. I really enjoyed all the layers of the story for sure. Although there was one section where like you have to sneak by this creepy lady, and she like talks through the controller. And and the main character's name is Sebastian, so she kept saying my name through the controller. So it was very creepy.
That's not what you want in a horror game.
Yeah,
very lucky.
Yeah, so I recommend it if you beat the first one. but if you don't like horror, then I'd probably avoid this game because this game does have some really scary moments if you're not used to that kind of stuff. Because there is some freaky, like with the camera monster. Did you play this game, Mitch? Did you beat it?
Yeah, I played it back in 2017 when it first came out, and
Yeah.
I loved it
Yeah.
when it came out at that point. But
Yeah.
it's really weird because I think, you know, despite the first game being a whole lot more janky,
Yeah.
like a whole lot jankier than this game, I kind of preferred the gameplay in that one, at least to me. I don't know, it was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what else did I play? I played Mafia 2 because it was $15 on sale because you know PlayStation has like 6 sales going on right now.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. And this one is definitely janky compared to the first one. This one feels like a PS3 game for sure. Like a little upscaled a little bit, but the way it plays and it's I can already tell right off the bat, like the first 10 minutes, that's going to be a mediocre game. But I do like the story, so I think I can power through the mediocre gameplay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
the story is fantastic, and I remember I played the game when it came out originally, and it's a fantastic game. But I tried playing the remaster when it came out with with the trilogy.
Yeah,
and it's rough. It's really I gave up after the first level because it's really.
I had the same problem with Mafia 3 because the Mafia 3 had an amazing story, but I couldn't get through it because I hated the gameplay so much. And so long as this game doesn't have like really bad difficulty spikes that like frustrate the shit out of me, I'll probably get through it. But if it does, I'll probably drop this game. But we'll see. And then finally, I beat Stubbs the Zombie last night. I'll talk about that in the impressions. So yeah.
Right. Well, in that case, what about you, Dory? What have you been playing?
Yeah, I had a slightly busy week in terms of playing games. So I'm still playing Grindstone and Carrion off and on. I think I just played Carrion this week. I got a little bit further, but nothing tremendously different has happened. I think I got a new ability, and it made me able to get through certain objects. I mean, it's kind of like a Metroidvania in a way, Carrion, the way it plays. I guess I don't play too many of those, so it's a weird experience for me. I played more of The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I played another couple hours. Feels like I'm getting close to the end, but I'm not sure. It's still kind of interesting in terms of what happened. The mechanics that are going on, the puzzles that are happening are interesting enough. I did have to use a guide for one of the puzzles, but every other puzzle, I guess technically two of the puzzles, but in both cases I had them mostly figured out when I finally like looked up what was going on. There's lots of like Lovecraftian stuff in this, which feels honestly kind of derivative and boring. I feel like I've seen the story a million times. The writing's still really strong though, so I don't mind too much that it feels derivative. At least the writing isn't bad. I can forgive derivative writing as long as it's consistent and tonally appropriate and whatnot, which this game is.
Yeah. So what do you mean by Lovecraft? I
don't want to get into too many spoilers, but basically like coming into contact with beings that you should not come into contact with, and then shit going wrong because of that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's most of my stuff with the Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I haven't finished it yet. I plan to hopefully finish it soon. It's an interesting detective game, and certainly it doesn't. You have to find where you're supposed to go next on your own, but once you do, it's easy to find. It's not easy, but it's not as bad as the game makes it sound to find the next thing. Like there are definitely times where the game literally, it won't tell you that the thing that you're doing or the thing that you see is helping you, but you can, if you played video games long enough, you can figure it out on your own. So I don't know. I still feel weird about the whole this game will not hold your hand thing, because it really does seem like once you do like a couple of things, like the game definitely points you in certain directions. And it's hard to not feel like that's just a form of low level hand holding, or basic game design has to involve that. So I don't know. That's just a game design philosophical thing that I've been thinking about while playing it.
Yeah.
The other game I got gaming laptop. That's what I'm on right now. I'm very
Hey.
excited. Like Seb, I got my stimulus this week, and I got my taxes back within a couple of days of each other. So the stimulus
nice.
almost made me, yeah, that
Gotta
must be
get my
nice.
taxes yet.
Can't relate. But I was going to buy a certain laptop with my stimulus money, but I wasn't sure, and I went back and forth on it, and I just couldn't decide. And then my tax money came in, and I was like, okay, obviously I have the money to do this. I've got to do it. So I picked up from Best Buy, and now my streams are beautiful.
Yeah.
And they run at 720p, and they're consistent, and I was able to play Yakuza 0 to test out my gaming laptop. Combat feels bad without a controller, for sure. I don't like the way the combat feels at all. It feels very wonky. It does say at the beginning of the game, which is very rude, by the way, says before the game even starts that real Yakuza use controllers. So that makes me feel excluded from the Japanese. That makes me feel excluded from the Japanese mob. I don't feel good about that. But I will be making sure that I can use controllers in the future when I play more Yakuza 0.
Yeah.
Graphics are nice. The plot is interesting. I don't know where it's gonna go. I kind of left off on a cliffhanger, like the first toll booth, or not toll booth, payphone booth that you get to that you can save at is where I saved, and then because I wanted to test out my stream and stuff.
Yeah.
I like the voice acting. I like the characters. The writing is pretty good. It's just the combat doesn't feel good, but that's just because I'm not using controller.
Yeah.
And obviously, real Yakuza use controllers.
That's the best one in the series so far for me. Yakuza 0, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's I'm only like an hour and a half in. I can't say a ton about it, but I've been enjoying it.
Yep.
The last game I have is Concrete Genie. I actually finished it this week. It is incredibly short. Holy crap.
Yeah, it is.
It only took me 3 episodes, or I call my streams episodes, but basically 3 streams to finish it. 3 2-hour streams to finish it. It was good. I liked it overall. The game is definitely starting to get a little repetitive, but because it's so short and fun, I don't mind. It doesn't really bother me. It's pretty easy. I only died twice, and I won't spoil the way in which I died the second time. But the first time I died, I died from fall damage, which I didn't expect. I think I died. I'm pretty sure I died. I only got caught once by the bullies the whole game. I only got caught by them once, and that was only because I literally stood there and started painting one of the walls and just sidestepping them, moving side to side until I finished. And I just finished the wall, and then they caught me. And I was like, y'all suck at bullying. I got thrown in the trash once. And that was it. And that's all that happens. And then you have to collect your wand. I mean, your brush.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I like it overall. I definitely have mixed feelings about its messaging around bullies because, I talked about in the last episode, not all bullies come from broken homes, and some people are just assholes or become assholes through their parents. And I don't know. I just feel like I appreciate the story they're trying to tell, and I don't think it's a bad one. Hence why I'm mixed on it.
Yeah.
But I also think it would be better if at least, I don't want to get into spoilers, but it would have been better if the bullies were at least a little more consistent, and it just feels like there's some character changes later on that don't feel earned.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit fluffy, you're saying? It's a bit too sort of airy-fairy and doesn't sort of go to the real, doesn't sort of dig into the darker aspects,
it's
possibly,
it's sort of motions or postures towards certain central explanations for why bullying happens, that people go through traumatic events or people deal with abuse and stuff like that, and that's certainly partly true, but I don't know, it's just not the whole picture.
I think she means just because you were abused doesn't give you a right to be a bully. It doesn't excuse it.
Exactly.
And I mean, they do say that explicitly, right? Ash says that at one point that okay, I get why they're doing what they're doing, but that doesn't make it okay, which I was glad to see that. but it's not, again, it's not the only reason why people turn into bullies, and it just
Yeah.
feels a little overly simplistic.
Yeah.
So did you like
exactly.
Did you like the painting and all that? Did you mess around with?
I did,
with that?
surprisingly, right? Like the closest I ever like painting is Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
love
yeah.
watching him paint stuff. That's really relaxing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can. I put up a bunch of stuff on my Twitter of my paintings, and I genuinely felt proud about them, and
Yeah.
actually really liked the way they came out more times than I didn't. I think there was only once or twice I can remember
Yeah.
where I didn't really think it looked okay, or I had messed it up somehow. There's some kind of like late game landscaping painting things that you can do that kind of seem to come a little too late in the game for me, because I didn't really get to mess around with them too much.
Yeah.
Also, I will say, I won't go into anything too specific, but in the last 2 chapters, the game kind of does a genre pivot, which is very weird. I don't know if this was always planned or what, but there's a weird genre pivot in the last 2 chapters. And it's fine. Like, it's not bad. It controls fine, and I don't have any major complaints, but it was just weird. Because it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and I don't know. It just seemed, I don't know if that was maybe the plan for the game to be like that the whole time, or they always wanted to have the genre pivot.
Yeah.
It was just interesting and weird. I'm like not negative on it, but I'm not like super positive on it. I don't know that it was needed.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm saying.
So did you find the game like relaxing, like overall, like a nice like, fill-in game?
Yeah, I felt like this was a good transitional game. Like,
Yeah.
I just played Uncharted 4 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I needed,
Yes.
and no artist pun intended, but I needed a good palate cleanser, and I feel like Concrete Genie is like the perfect,
Totally
like,
agree. Yeah.
yeah, like perfect, like chill out game.
Yeah.
Like, the stakes are really low. I mean, obviously some bad shit happens in that game.
Yeah.
But like the stakes are generally pretty low. Ash is a likable character.
Yeah.
The characters are fun. I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel where they expand the mechanics, or somehow make the world bigger, basically get a bigger budget.
Yeah.
But for what it was, 4 out of 5, pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, the art was so fun, and I really enjoyed the VR. It had like a little mini like VR bonus section. I loved it. It was so good.
So
I recommend doing that.
So 7 out of 10, too much bullies?
Yeah, 7 out of 10. Too many paintings.
Too much
Too many genies.
And I take it that's everything you've been playing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, Mitch, what were you? What have you been playing this week?
Oh.
I mean, funnily enough, in contrast, I haven't been playing nearly as much as anyone else by the looks of it. But,
I see here that instead of painting the walls with fabulous drawings, you've been painting them with blood.
Indeed. Nazi blood. That sounds really twisted. What I was about to say there. Never mind. Yes. No. I was
the best blood you can get.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You said it. You said it, not me. Alrighty. So yeah, I've been playing Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, which is the prequel, I want to say, standalone DLC to the New Order.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just more of the same game. It's really just more of the New Order. There's no new gameplay mechanics really, except for the ability to climb up walls and stuff. I will say though, like the main thing, and maybe it's just because I'm playing it on hard this time around, but it is hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Like there is.
Yeah.
I died a ton, especially in the early levels where you've got literally no weapons or anything, so you're forced to play stealthily. Like there's a section where you have to, around the beginning, where you have to sort of avoid a bunch of heavily armored, tanks basically, and if one of them spots you, they all spot you, and you're basically instantly dead. Like they've got machine guns and everything. It's insane. But once you do, get more of an arsenal, it's fine. Like it's really just a escape from Wolfenstein castle type of game.
Yeah.
Literally. I won't spoil it here, but like I mean, the box art itself kind of spoils it, but I'm not going to say it here in case you haven't seen it yet. But about 2/3 of the way in, there's a shift in, I don't want to say shift in tone, but there's a shift in like gameplay wise what happens, and it really didn't work for me just because the enemies you fight are a lot less interesting, mechanically speaking. But you know, it's fine either way. Like it goes from like a 9 out of 10 that I had the Wolf and like the New Order at to like a 6 out of 10 here. Like it's nothing that amazing. Although I will say easily the worst aspect about this is that in between chapters, for some reason, the devs had these pre-rendered little cutscenes put in, and they're compressed as to all hell. Like they're super compressed. They just look super ugly, take you out of the experience completely. But so that was what you call it, Wolfenstein.
Is that
I've also played.
Go ahead.
Oh, yep. No. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, is your first Wolfenstein game or
No, so I played the New Order, so that was my first Wolfenstein game. But this is, I'm sort of following it up on this, and yeah, I'm really glad I decided to do the New Order first. Otherwise, I'd probably be turned off to do the rest of the games.
Yeah.
But because it's not that great, unfortunately. But it's just a standalone DLC, so you can't really complain that much.
Yeah, that's
now
when I
Oh,
played it. Sorry, I remember playing it, and maybe it's just because I wanted to get to Wolfenstein 2, and I just thought that I had to sort of play it before I got to Wolfenstein 2. But I don't remember enjoying it as much as the first
No.
game.
I'm in the exact same boat. It's basically I at least feel obligated to play this game in order to get to the sequel, which I'm I'm not having fun with.
Yeah, if you think this game is hard, wait until you play the second one, because that game is so unforgiving.
I heard that game.
There is a difficulty
definitely.
that if you die, you have to start the whole game over. So if you beat that difficulty, you're a gaming god, because
yeah, literally,
that's like one of the hardest trophies of all time. So I don't know how anyone did that.
Definitely,
I had to play that game on easy, to be honest with you. Like I couldn't even play it on normal.
Damn.
It was so hard. The second one, I mean.
Damn.
I played it on normal.
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard.
Yeah, okay.
I've never played.
You can't even beat the Tower Knight in Demon's Souls, so don't talk.
I love this conversation because I've literally never played a Wolfenstein game in my life, so this is good.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it.
Fun stuff. I am planning on picking up the New Order and because that Game Pass, so that's what I'm thinking about.
Absolutely.
About
Play the New Order. It's amazing.
I think
play it.
I think what it is the Wolfenstein games, the Bethesda ones, have like very unforgiving sections. Like if you get caught, you just get like overwhelmed by like hundreds of enemies. Like you'll see what I mean.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes like that. Go ahead.
Definitely. Sorry, I was going to say. Now the other game I've been playing this week primarily has been Darksiders, the War Mastered Edition.
Yeah.
It's it's probably my first time properly playing through the first game. I've played a bit of Genesis, played a lot of 2, played a lot of 3. Haven't played the first one as much. You can kind of tell how 2 built off of 1, but I think at least 2 had far superior gameplay and combat, because like the combat in here, it's fun, but there just aren't enough enemies on the screen at once to actually get a decent combo up. Like I don't think I've ever gotten my combo beyond like 10 or 12.
Yeah, that's true.
There's just not enough enemies.
Yeah.
Some of the level design is also a bit iffy. Like I've recently I spent about half an hour to 45 minutes just looking for because one of the annoying things that this game does to sort of like pad out the time is that you'd get to a wall, then you'd have this big stone giant thing say, "Oh, I'd love to let you through, but you've got to do 4 challenges for me first."
That's
so
true.
You got to backtrack, do a lot of those.
Yep.
They're annoying as hell, take a bunch of time, and I spent about 30 to 45 minutes just looking for one of these challenges, only to realize I had to swim underneath. And
this game's level design is horrendous. And later on, wait till you get to like these puzzle sections. Oh my god, I hated it. I was like, I hate this.
Really?
Game. Yeah, I was really enjoying the game. It's a God of War clone, but then it turned into like a puzzle game. Like the whole level, it was like 4 or 5 hours long of puzzles. I was like, ugh.
Jesus.
You'll see.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it then. No. But I think the last night I'll end off with at the moment is that I hate War's character design. I
Mm.
cannot stand it. The character design for War is
Mm.
the epitome of like late 2000s, early 2010s edgy teenager graphic novel type of character design. It's
Yeah, I can see that.
like if you think of like the War Horseman,
Yeah.
you do not think of a giant 10-foot tall buff dude
Yeah.
with white Goldilocks hair, a hood, and a giant metal claw.
Yeah. It's true.
that's just not what you think of when I say War.
Yeah. I mean, this series has a very like Blizzard design. Like it looks a lot like Warcraft or Diablo. Like
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
a lot.
the character design gets a lot better with the sequels, like
Yeah.
Death and oh fuck, I forget her name.
Fury.
Wrath, Fury, yes, Fury, Fury, and then you have the fourth horseman, Strife, I think his name is, or whatever the hell it is. But their character designs are all great, but War just looks awful. I have no idea who designed him or what they thought about
Yeah.
while they were doing it, but he just looks awful. I can't stand looking at him. But yeah, that's really my impressions on Darksiders. If you guys have anything more to add.
I do
No.
not. I tried playing
No?
that game once, didn't take to it. It felt very
Yeah, no,
Borderlands.
I can understand that.
I
Yeah,
have
I can get that. I can get that.
Yeah, so I've been playing Control, which is interesting because I didn't like Control very much when I played it the first time. So you'd be curious, I'm sure, why I'm replaying it. And the answer is to take
PS5?
photos. No.
Oh, right.
I'm playing on
right, right.
PC.
You're playing the
I'm playing-
Ultimate Edition or
Oh.
the regular one?
No, just the regular edition. I've got it on PC, so I'm playing it on PC.
Okay.
I can't-
Okay.
I can't fathom the photo mode on console. I can't fathom the photo mode anywhere for this game, to be honest. It's difficult to take photos with this game. But
Yeah.
it's easier on PC. It's certainly easier on PC.
Okay.
But yeah, like this game, what I've noticed is that this game has a lot of reds and a lot of blacks and a lot of blues.
That's true.
Mostly reds and blacks.
Yeah.
I was gonna
A
say
lot of
I
red.
don't remember many blues, but yeah,
A lot of
of
red.
It has
red.
it's some blues, yeah. Just to to accent
Some.
the red and black aesthetic. But that's pretty much all I
Yeah,
have to say
yeah.
about that game. Because
Just
nothing about the combat or the story or the bonkers plot.
You remind me of guys that like buy a game, like get a high end PC and play a game just for an hour, just to look what the rocks look like on the highest settings, and then turn the game
mean-
off and then refund it.
I mean, yeah, but you need a high end PC to see what to get the rocks looking nice. If you want good photos, you need them high quality textures. Yeah. Anyway, it looks great. Kind of. The character models are a little on the rough side. You can tell they didn't sort of design the character models to be looked at up close. But the architecture is incredibly detailed. It's
That's
really
true.
phenomenal. It's all about the architecture, baby.
Sounds brutal, dude.
Ha.
And with that, Dory, let's move on and hear what you think about the new DLC for the Outer Worlds. Murder on stop me if I'm not pronouncing
Eridanos.
this right.
Arid what?
Eridanos.
Eridanos?
Eridanos.
It looks
I've heard it.
It-
I've heard it,
like-
and I still don't remember how the fuck this
It looks
thing is
like
pronounced.
Eridanos, but
That's yeah.
Eridanos. That's right.
Let's go
that's
with
right.
that. Let's go with that.
Yeah,
Iridociclitis.
But how you feeling on this? What's your-
supercalifragilistic. No.
it sucks. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't suck. It's just Outer Worlds. It's just out. I don't know what you like. Okay, so all right. So last time it was a bit of a noir detective type feel, if I remember correctly, with Peril and Gorgon. This time it's more of a murder mystery, serial drama type thing. I mean, it had a bit of that feel. There's definitely overlap, right, between this and Peril and Gorgon in terms of genre and style and stuff. I'm about 3.5 hours or so into it at this point. 3 to 3.5 hours. I played a little today and I played a little last night. I'm liking it. I mean, it's the same Outer Worlds that you always get. It's anti-corporate as hell, biting satire. Some of the satire is really disturbing this time around. Like some of the stuff actually made me kind of like kind of like cringe a little bit, because I was like, damn, that is just that's hard hitting stuff. Like they are not holding back. They certainly have not tempered their message at all. That's something I will certainly say for Private Division that I respect the hell out of. They have not tempered the message as the DLCs come out or something like that, or backtracked on anything. Like, no, this is like full stop. Corporations are bad. Okay. Like, the gameplay is still fine. They've added this thing where I won't get into too many specifics. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's basically a new clue mechanic. I mean, it's okay. It's like, it's fun, but it feels really tacked on, and it feels very simplistic, and it gets repetitive. I'm only 3.5 hours in, and already feels a little repetitive, but it's fun. It's basically detective vision, but a little more limited, honestly. Let's see what else is going on in it. There's some colorful characters that are fun to get to know. You have like really cool conversations. I'm a person who tries to avoid combat in this game, so I have my persuade skills really high. So I try to avoid combat if I can. Not that I hate it.
Same.
Yeah. Not that I hate it. It's just okay, and I always feel like it gets in the way of interesting dialogue and writing, which really is this game's strength, not its combat.
Yeah.
I don't like the inventory system very much. It feels very cumbersome and tedious, and that's a general complaint, by the way. That would have been a complaint in the last DLC or the main game.
Yeah.
It always just feels like you've got too much stuff to look at once, and it always feels like a chore to sort through what weapons you should equip and what ones you shouldn't. I never even mess with food or bonuses. It just feels like there's too much fluff here, and there doesn't need to be.
No, this is really specific. Sorry, Mitch. This is really specific. But have they fixed the map since the main game?
The map.
Have they improved the map at all? Because the map.
I haven't really needed the map because the objective markers are so good that I haven't really even looked at the map, to be honest with you. So I've just used the objective markers. But yeah, it's. I will say what they haven't fixed: load times. This is a good game to have your phone right next to you, because you'll be sitting for like 30 seconds, especially if you die. And I know we've talked about this before, so I'll keep this brief. I talked about this on Peril on Gorgon. So same criticism here. If you die, you go into a load screen. The screen. If you have, it is a load screen, honestly.
Well, to be fair, we have PS5s, so
whatever. Whatever.
Okay. To be fair though, I've recently
though.
started. I've recently started Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I forgot to talk about. But I recently started Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Please don't.
And no. And the load time's like a minute long on the PS5.
No, it was, yeah.
So
it depends on the game.
It depends on the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if they optimized it for PS5.
Probably wasn't, to be honest.
Yeah, probably not. Private Division, get your shit together. And it sucks, especially because they. When you die and you haven't, and you were about to leave the area of a given area and go into the wild or something, you have to go through another loading screen. So that's 2 loading screens.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, have your phone next to you.
Yeah, that was one of my complaints with that game. Was there was a lot of loading screens. Like I felt like
they're long.
Yeah.
Do we think this game comes to PS5 at some point?
Maybe. It's possible.
I wouldn't. I mean, is this the last expansion? Because I thought they were only doing 2 expansions.
This is the last DLC.
Because I was gonna say I would have expected them to do like the PS5 release alongside with the last DLC to build up hype. So if they didn't do it like now, then I don't see them doing it.
I mean, I know they updated the frame rate. I think it's up to 60 now.
Yeah, they got it up to 60, but they couldn't be bothered to do anything with the load times.
I mean, they probably would have just done something like what they did with like Jedi Fallen Order or whatever, and just on PS5 just boost the frame rate. And
they're probably not making PlayStation a priority now that Microsoft owns them.
No.
So
for sure, that's true too. And to be clear, It's not like I don't want the loading screens to be 5 seconds or anything. It's just it would be better if it just wasn't a fucking minute or something like that. It feels like it's forever. Anyway, that all aside, I think the plot is interesting. I'm interested to know who killed Halcyon Helen.
It was the butler.
Who killed her with what weapon and where? Just kidding. We know where.
So it's basically Intergalactic Cluedo then, the game.
Kind of. I mean, it is certainly the. I will say I'll talk about a little bit about some of the main suspects. So some of the main suspects is her ex-boyfriend, a competing sort of like drama star or whatever, the serial drama star, and then
the butler.
and there's no butler. This is in a hotel,
Ah,
but one of the bellhops is a suspect as well.
so
And
so they have
yeah.
like, do they have like all the like personality archetypes there, like the bellhop and the lady and the boyfriend, like
And
did
the
they have all those
butler.
sort of like and the butler?
there's
Did-
all
did-
kind there's all kinds of like little hints of, I think what Private Division does so well with Outer Worlds is with all of these characters, there's kind of an underlying dread you can see in all of them, as they're kind of like living their lives in these awful
Yeah.
corporations. And I think that's the thing they do the best, especially here. There's a particular area where you have very, very happy people. I'm not going to get into why they're happy because it's kind of like a minor story spoiler, but it's just creepy and unnerving, and it honestly does reflect how corporations want people to act. As someone who worked in retail for 10 fucking years, like wanting you to always smile, always say yes, yes, yes to customers. It's just a reductio ad absurdum. It's just that taken to its logical extreme.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know, that stuff's all fun. I don't have too much else to say about it because again, I'm only like 3.5 hours in. But basic impressions are: this is another solid DLC that expands Outer Worlds in interesting ways, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, Seb, you've been playing Stubbs the Zombie.
Yes.
So when did this come out?
Well, like on PS4, or you mean like
Yeah, originally.
Originally, it came out in 2005 on the Xbox. The original,
2005.
the OG
Yeah,
Xbox.
The
we're
Xbox
all about being on the
One.
cutting edge here at PSPremiere.
But Stubbs the Zombie is a very fun sandbox game, like Destroy All Humans. It is very much so from that era of they made a game out of anything. But this game is very unique because you get to play as a zombie. Usually you're shooting the zombies. It still looks like a PS2 game or an Xbox game. They remastered it, but it definitely aged. It's not a remake or anything like that. But where the game shines is the game mechanics, because you can like eat brains, and every person you eat turns into a zombie as well. So you can like create a whole army of zombies that just overwhelm everybody. So that's really fun, and you can lead the zombies by whistling at them. You also have other powers, like you can possess people with hands, so you can like possess the cops or army guys to shoot other guys. You can throw your guts as grenades, and you can roll your head like a bowling ball, and then you can explode your head. It does take place in like a retro, like futuristic 1950s, like Destroy All Humans. So it has like that vibe to it. It has like it has very like old school humor, I guess, because like the whole game revolves around him wanting to get the girl at the end. I won't say what happens at the end. But it does have audio issues, like very bad audio issues. Like sometimes it gets really loud, and then sometimes like the audio just goes silent. It's very strange. And then I had a lot of crashes. This game needs a patch for sure, but it's also an old game, so I kind of expected, I guess. But
when you say they remastered it, did they just like boost the frame rate and resolution, or like what did they do for this?
it just looks cleaner. But like I think the resolution, I don't know what frame rate it is. I guess I didn't notice, but maybe 60, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just more clean. It's not blurry. Like you look at like the gameplay from 2005, it looks like an old Xbox game. Why this one looks like a old game, but it looks like it was cleaned up. So you can
Okay.
I don't know if I can recommend this game if you didn't grow up in this era. If you did, I absolutely recommend it. But
The 50s, sorry, the 50s, do you mean, or the early 2000s?
the early 2000s, back when you would like go to
Yeah.
Blockbuster and like you pick a game off based on the cover or the title of the game. I do have a lot of nostalgia for this game because it reminds me of G4, because they used to this game used to randomly pop up in like compilations and stuff, and it's just like for some reason about this game, it always like just it's one of the first games I always think of when I think of this generation of that generation. I mean, but yeah, I think it's really fun, to be honest with you, and it's pretty short, so it's only $20. Maybe wait for a sale. It'd probably be like $10 eventually, but I
Yeah,
actually really
yeah.
recommend it, but I don't know. It's really up to you guys. If you guys, I would look at gameplay and see if it looks
Is something you're interested in.
yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. But like I
I
said,
mean, who doesn't want
I have
to?
nostalgia for it. So
Who doesn't want to eat brains, right?
yeah.
I mean, they're
Oh,
really good for you. You got all the calcium, and
I mean,
Exactly. I'm pretty sure we can all relate.
I know Dory did, but did Mitch and James? Did you guys play Destroy All Humans, like the
No.
original or the remake?
I definitely not the remake. I don't know if I did. If I did play the original Destroy All Humans, it would have been like at a friend's place or whatever when I was younger.
Okay.
But
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's just like a fun like sandbox game. It's one of those like comfortable. You're just fun games, like just fill
when
in,
Mitch
just
was
fill in, those
a
fill
young
in.
boy,
My father, no,
No.
it's one of those comfortable, like like Concrete Genie. It's just like a fill in, nice like 5-6 hour, maybe 10 hour game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Great. Now, before we get to the news, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by video games, no longer available in Australia. Go play some ball games. Fuckers.
Now,
Right.
the first news of the week. Unfortunately, Disco Elysium, the final cut, has been refused classification in the land of kangaroos and shrimps on the Barbie, Australia. What will the kangaroos play now? We are going to our Australian correspondent, Mitch, to find out more.
Absolutely fuck all.
Look, it's so weird because as far as I'm aware, it's been like a good while since a game that I've actually been looking forward to has been refused classification in here, because all of our politicians are old white dudes who have no idea what art and create, like, they so what seems to have happened here is that, and back me up if I'm wrong here, Dory, but the main character in the game apparently takes drugs and uses them to boost stats or anything, I'm assuming. And
that's correct.
However, in the game's context, I've heard that, like, the character is apparently a bit of a sleazebag and isn't, he isn't exactly.
He was a sleazebag, but you can improve him through the course of the game. I will also say,
Which is his
even though
arc,
drugs can positively impact you in that game, they always have a drawback, and the larger narrative is I don't, even if it wasn't, by the way, I wouldn't give a shit, but like the larger narrative is a sort of criticism of drowning yourself in alcohol just to fight off the pain and the feelings that you should be dealing with more healthy. So I mean, like, they're just completely missing the point of the game. But yeah,
except we're a land of a bunch of dumb fucks. So they look at what they've done is they've looked at those actions in isolation, and instead of the broader context and the actual criticism and what the game has to say. So then they've taken, your character uses drugs to get a stat boost, therefore all the youths of Australia are gonna suddenly go out and partake in drug usage if they aren't already. Because
I gotta tell you, I sympathize with the reasoning, because I'm straight edge, and once I played the game, I just had a hardcore night of partying, and I just drank all the booze I could. That's exactly what happened.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I've been stocking up for when the game comes out. Like, I'm getting prepared.
Yeah,
that's right. James is actually going to role play the main character and just get himself so blasted and wasted the night before it comes out.
Well, that's the only way.
He's going to become an amnesiac, and he's going to experience Disco Elysium truly for the first time.
I will say I did just spend about $40 on a nice butterscotch schnapps, so maybe but no, I remember the last time I legitimately remember, or the last two times I remember a game getting refused classification, is Syndicate, if anybody remembers that game at all, in 2012, and then also the Mortal Kombat in 2011. That was refused classification for a good year or so before we actually ended up getting the game.
Let me guess, they didn't like the music.
You guessed it. You guessed it, Jane. Yeah, no. But I mean, look, the funny thing is that we have like this. Like, it feels fucking ridiculous to say this, but only in the not even in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, we've only just gotten an R18 plus rating for video games here.
What?
So before it went up, yeah, it like 2012 or 2011 was 2012, I think, was when the first time when we got an R18 plus classification for video games. Before it was G, PG, so parental guidance, M for mature audiences, and MA 15 plus. So that we only just got an R18 rating in the last 10 years, and still Disco Elysium doesn't pass because for some reason they believe that adults can't handle storytelling that actually criticizes drug use as a whole. But
I can't believe in 2021 that people are still scapegoating video games as a gateway to violence and drugs.
No, I mean, it's a slightly different topic, but like just a few months back, the government, or at least a sect of it, were trying to ban like a lot of anime because like, granted, a lot of anime does have a lot of not
Unsavory.
great sort of visual,
No,
unsavory. Yeah, that's the word, visuals.
Yeah,
but
when it comes to censorship with like Japanese, like with underage girls, I that's the only time I support censorship generally.
Yeah, but like I think,
Yeah.
but like with that, they were also trying to expand it to
Everything.
anime that. Like, they were basically saying that, like, it encourages, like, even, like, anime, like, I think they use, like, My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan even as examples that apparently support pedophilia. And I'm like, if you want to make that case...
Makes no sense.
Yeah. I know.
I've seen all four. I've seen all 4 seasons. It absolutely does not.
Yeah.
It honestly spends most of the fucking series... fucking criticizing one of the creeps who is in the class. That is so backwards.
That's
I mean,
weird.
there is some like overt like sexualization in My Hero that I feel a little uncomfortable with.
Absolutely.
But I don't think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, I don't know.
This is very strange. Yeah, just go ahead.
I was going to say, like, for how, like, progressive Australia wants to say it is, it's really not. Like, we're still, the fact that our current government doesn't have the actual brain cells to take context into account of actions is dumbfounding to me.
That's crazy to me because this is something America did like in the 90s, but in the last like 15 years, video games have kind of, they don't really get blamed as much anymore. Like, it's not like it used to be.
No.
Yeah.
But like the like a lot of our, or at least a lot of the people in our government keep wanting to blame, like it's absolutely bonkers to me that we were like one of the few big countries in the world to have gun control and do it successfully mostly. And yet our government's now still scapegoating media and video games and anime for all of these other things. And I'm like, you're serious?
Yeah.
You're kidding, right? Like, it's
happening in Japan too. They're censoring a lot of their stuff now. It might be that area, the Pacific. I don't know. Like, I wonder if it's happening around countries around that area too. And
I don't know. I mean, like,
how
as far as
New
I'm
Zealand?
aware,
Is New Zealand doing that too? Like,
that's what I was about to like sort of question. I have no idea if New Zealand's gonna have like is still allowing it. I haven't heard anything about it but I'm assuming it's just Australia at the moment. But yeah, like for further context, it's the Final Cut update that's been banned. Like, as far as I'm aware, I'll check now, but like the actual main version of Disco Elysium is still up for sale on Steam.
Yeah,
but
as far as we know from the devs themselves, the only things that have been added to the game are some new political vision quests and fully voice acted, and those are like the big, besides obviously like some graphical stuff or something like that. By the way, we should point out, since we're talking about Disco, it finally got its release date, March 30th. So party.
Happy for you then.
I'm so excited. Stoked.
I guess you can take it this way, that if if for some reason that update did get banned here, then I guess you've got definitely some like grittier, interesting stuff to look forward to in the update
Look,
that they might not. Have
So what
said.
happens if you like?
But-
Can you make an like American account or something and do that? Do it
No,
that way.
I'm pretty sure you have to like because it'd be in an Australian credit card and all whatnot.
I guess
so
you have to use
say
like,
they'd have.
you have to use like a VPN, right, or something like that.
I'm assuming, but I honestly don't know if I like, as much as it pains me to say this, I don't know if I want to go through that many hoops just to play Disco Elysium.
That's
I can still play. I can play the base version here still.
Yeah,
that's
what I would
still
do.
up for sale,
I would just play it
but-
on Steam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'd love to play it on PS5 and get trophies and whatnot, but yeah, no, I don't know. It's really dumb, but I guess that's just sort of what the Australian government is like.
That's ridiculous.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
What can
Yeah.
you do? Well, anyway, we should move on to some other news from this week. So, Square Enix held a press conference on, it's Thursday? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, Thursday the 18th. And a number of things were revealed and talked about, but we're only going to discuss 3 of them because those are the only things we're interested in and everything else sucks. So, first off,
true.
there was a new Life is Strange game revealed, as we knew was going to happen. It's being made by Deck 9, which are the minds behind Life is Strange Before the Storm,
Yep.
which was a better game than it had any right to be.
Yep.
True.
It was absolutely fantastic. So I'm over the moon about this. It looks fantastic. And it's coming out September 10th. What did you guys think of the trailer for Life is Strange True Colors?
Loved it.
I'll let you guys go
Loved
first.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think. I've mentioned it to you guys before, but like at least with what I've played, I was not a fan of the first Life is Strange.
Ban him.
I just
Ban him.
couldn't.
I think
ban him. No, but
I've got a doctor's
yep.
appointment to go to. I'll see you later.
That's hella messed up, Mitch.
Yeah, that's fucked up, dude.
I'm sorry, but no, I I definitely want to revisit it, but I think it's just like the story I loved, but the voice acting, or at least I don't know if it was the delivery or the direction. I mean, I do know that Don't Nod, I think it was, they're not a native English speaking company. So
I think they're French.
I can't.
Right?
Yeah, French.
Yeah, French is definitely the vibe I get. Like I get not like I totally understand it, so I'm not going to bash him too hard, but I just, at least with Max and the fact that she's the main protagonist and you're constantly with her, her voice, or her delivery I should say, nothing against the actress either, but I just couldn't put up with it for the 1 and a bit episodes that I've played. Granted, that was a few years back, so I might get back into it now. And
in short, we'll be getting rid of Mitch. So if you want a job on PS Premiere, feel free to get in touch with us. Mitch doesn't work here anymore at pspremiere@gmail.com.
You guys are getting paid?
Mute him. Oh, you let the.
No. I will say, talk about Life is Strange 1 for a second. Like, there's definitely some moments, especially in the first couple episodes, where Don't Nod is clearly still finding their foot in terms of dialogue and voice direction and stuff. I do think it gets better, but I do understand what Mitch is saying. I think it takes a few episodes for Don't Nod to figure out that language barrier, and then like they're trying to basically this French team of older, probably like mid-age or younger white dudes is trying to like get in the minds of like these teenage girls from fucking the West Coast of the US.
Yeah,
because the dialogue in Life is Strange 2 and Tell Me Why was way better than the first game, so you definitely improved.
Did Don't Nod still do Life is Strange 2, or was that Deck 13?
Yeah,
it was
okay. They still did that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Don't Nod did Life is Strange 1 and 2. Deck 9 did Before the Storm and are doing True Colors.
Yep.
So I imagine that
they're the backup.
They're like so I imagine that means True Colors isn't Life is Strange 3. And if there is a Life is Strange 3,
this is
that'll
more like a
be from
spin-off,
Don't Nod.
I would say. Yeah.
And it's going to be
I will.
The interesting thing as well, is that it's going to be one whole game. It's not going to be episodic.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
Which is I'm wondering if they're gonna like split it into like chapters or episodes within that game. Like not like obviously it won't be episodic, but like if they're gonna have
They are.
this is chapter 1. They
Yeah.
are? They are?
Yeah, they are. They've
Okay.
already said. I watched the full. You can watch this on IGN, but they have a full information thing, and they say basically if you want to take an emotional break because you're going to need it during each episode, they're basically still going to have it. They've been working on this since 2017, right? That basically this is the trade. Yeah, this is the trade off here.
Okay.
Is that because they've been working on it since 2017, they have the full game, but and so now they're not going to release it in chapter form, or they're not going to like episodically do it. But the trade-off was that it took them like 5 years or 4 years or something like that, right? So that's the trade-off. But I mean, I think it's worth it, and also I think a lot of people are less into episodic games. Telltale isn't really around to do it anymore, and I feel like a lot of the episodic reaction to Life is Strange 2 was mixed.
It's very outdated.
It's outdated
not to mention Hitman completely abandoned that model after the first
it's outdated,
game.
I think
exactly.
studios are just moving away from it. I don't think it's as popular.
Well, the problem is, not so much Hitman because it's not as like story driven, but like when a story driven game like Life is Strange or a Telltale game, the episodes would be like months apart. So you can't remember what happened in the previous episode, which affects your choices because you don't remember as much.
And even with Hitman as well, like an interesting point about that is, and I may be getting this not entirely 100% correct, but
yeah,
I remember from No Clip's documentary on the making of Hitman and Hitman 2, it was interesting that they did the episodic thing for Hitman 1, and they expected something like 80% of the players to buy the first episode and then upgrade to the season pass, and the other like 20% would just buy the full experience off the bat. But it actually turned out to be the opposite. So like 80% of people just bought the whole thing straight up because they trusted them.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
If I remember correctly, Life is Strange 2, you had to buy the season pass and you couldn't buy these episodes individually. And then a lot of people bitched and they had to reverse it. But
I will also say,
I remember being mad about that because I buy them once. I usually buy them an episode per time. So
it does. Sometimes these games do say like previously on, like Dragon Ball Z used to do or whatever, like last time on Life is Strange. Yeah. But they do that, and that does help a little bit with reminding you what happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, like it can only do so much because if you go on and on and on for a recap, it just becomes uninteresting. Even if the thing that you watched was like one of the best things in the world.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're switching to full episodes. Yeah. Hopefully they do that for Life is Strange 3 as well.
Yeah, especially this series where like little details can affect the major plot in the story, like major like part of the story. So if you
like
yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Because I was going to say, I know something, at least with Batman Telltale, that Telltale did, is that they had like all the major decisions you had. They had like a little page where like they both say, this is what you chose, but this is like what percentage of the player base agreed with you, which percentage of the player base disagreed with you, did something different.
Yeah.
Like it. I don't know, but I mean, it's like small things like that are nice, but definitely like I fully agree with you.
Yeah.
That, like,
anyway,
that you need all of them.
I was gonna say Telltale was the worst though. It would be like 6 months until the next episode. It was like sometimes it was ridiculous.
I do want to talk about this trailer though. I do want to talk.
No, we
about
will.
Yeah, sorry.
We will.
Sorry.
Because it's exciting. So, especially. So, I mean, this is exciting representation, obviously, because there's not a ton of games that have Asian American leads, especially
nowadays.
Especially nowadays, especially women. She's probably bisexual, or at least you have certain romance options.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine anyone dating anyone besides Steph. If you do that, you're completely boring. So I'm sorry, I'm judging very harshly. I'm also excited because Steph is back, and that's awesome. She's from another Life is Strange game called Before the Storm, which we've talked about here.
Yep.
I feel like I'm bad. I feel like I'm bad about this with the Life is Strange games for some reason, worse than other people. But I never seem to remember characters from them. I don't remember Steph at all,
really?
and I didn't remember like I never there was a link to Life is Strange 1 and Life is
Oh,
Strange 2.
and there's
And I
I,
didn't
I won't
pick
say
up
what
on
it
that at
was,
all
but
either.
there was a character, like a big character in the first game and the second game, and I got really hyped. I was like, oh my god, was that him? And
That just totally that like
Oh
I
my
went
God.
through that whole section talking to him and everything, and it just went right over my head the
Oh,
whole time.
I got hyped.
I'd like so I'm really bad with that, so
Yeah.
I don't remember Steph at all.
But to be fair, I've beaten Life is Strange, the first one, like 3-4 times, so like that's why. If you played it again, you might.
Yeah.
You
I
probably
think I
know it.
played it once, but I might have gone through it a little bit just to see different decisions. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
so yeah, the trailer's really exciting. The graphics look great. They're doing some mocapping this time. So the graphics look a lot better, or not a lot better, but they look a little better. They're basically touting this as the most graphically enhanced Life is Strange experience, but also on the other hand, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
come on, we're at PS5 at this point,
Yeah.
like it should be.
Do you guys know if it's the same engine
Yeah.
as Tell Me Why, or is it they changed the engine?
It kind of looks like it's the same engine almost.
Yeah, because Tell Me
I wanna
Why
say.
like really nailed the look of like they're kind of like clay. I don't know, clayish. You know what I mean? Like they still kind of look like
I know
dolls, but it's more. I don't know. There's something about it.
I mean,
They're very
kind of,
plasticky.
it looks like a really good like oil or brush painting almost.
Yeah.
Some of the character designs are like the
Yeah.
features, like,
It's like-
especially
Yeah.
especially on the cover art, like it looks like a beautiful just oil or brush painting, like with the colors, and then you've got like sort of the tones of
Yeah.
just all the shading and stuff. But
Yeah.
like I think like more than anything else, I think this game looks absolutely beautiful, like from a graphical standpoint, and I honestly I think this is probably going to be the first Life is Strange experience that I buy day one.
It's honestly,
Yay.
it's encouraging me to finally finish up 2 now that I have my gaming laptop. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry too much
Yeah.
about that, and I've got some extra money thanks to the stuff that's been going on. So I'm excited to.
Nice.
The first episode of 2, which I've already played, already made me like break down into some tears. So yeah, I think like I love Life is Strange. Like there's definitely some wonky dialogue. There's definitely some tropes that you can criticize. I have major criticisms for the way that the first game ends, personally. But I think that it's such a beautiful series that really tries to be as inclusive as possible, and really tries to incorporate people's authentic experiences as much as possible, while putting in interesting twists. I will say one thing I didn't quite care for the trailer is that I can't even count how many young adult plot lines are, someone close to you has been murdered, but wait, it's not what you think. There's more going on in this town. Everyone has secrets. I feel like I've heard that plot a million fucking times.
I was gonna say it feels very Hot Fuzz, kind of like.
No,
I would love that if it was Hot Fuzz. I love Hot Fuzz.
All right, can I say something it actually does remind me of, which if any of you have heard or watched the show, is going to sound like sacrilege, but I have faith that this game is going to handle it a million times better than this show. But
yeah,
Riverdale. It reminds me a lot of Riverdale, just by the small town and the murder mystery. It's not. But I, as I said, I have faith that they'll actually.
Yeah, I do too.
It
I want to be clear that my criticism's a very big like nitpick. Like, oh, this sounds very generic. I'm sure that I'm confident that the writers are going to do a good job with it.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, I really just want to play the game for the protagonist.
Yeah.
That's really all.
She seems really interesting.
No.
She seems like.
Yeah.
Although, sorry, I was going to say one thing I'm not so sold on though is just her powers, or whatever they call them in the Life is Strange universe. But I'm not.
Powers.
Oh yeah, I believe they call them powers.
Do they? I don't know. Like, I don't know if they have like a special like term for it in the universe. But I guess I'm not so as much sold on the idea currently, as at least is how it's been shown with her.
I'm actually
like,
kind of excited
tapping
though
into
for that, because like
it could, like, definitely depending on how they deal with it, it could be certainly interesting. But I'm just not sure how it's going to work from a gameplay.
I mean, you could probably
view.
tackle certain dialogue options by reading their R, like the color that they are currently. Yeah. But
I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, because I did like the first the game mechanic in the first game where you can reverse time over the second one. Where the second one you were more like the brother. No,
I do like that dynamic as well in the second one though, where
I did
you aren't
too.
the one with the powers. You just
True.
have to like influence your brother
But
as much.
but the first one,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, the time travel part was funner. Like just because you can always reverse. If you made a mistake, you can always go back and do it.
Yeah,
a
that
different
was
way.
reverse.
Who
that's
helps this time?
that was always the most interesting aspect of the first Life is Strange.
Yeah.
I remember when I
But-
played is that the mechanic was great. Yeah.
It does feel like this mechanic is gonna be less active sort of in gameplay than the first Life is Strange, because you're not gonna be like rewinding time. It's gonna be more focused on like it's gonna be giving you dialogue choices and that kind of thing. It
Yeah.
seems like
Yeah,
Yeah, that seems to be the implication.
kind of like the
at-
game
at this
Before the
point.
Storm with the backtalk
Yeah.
mechanic.
yeah.
That you can
Oh,
have.
Yeah.
I like that mechanic. It was interesting.
But I mean, this kind of like power doesn't really go for like action, so I can see this game being very like slow and very dialogue heavy, kind of like Tell Me Why was. I know that might not
Yeah.
click with everybody because sometimes these games get very slow at times. Like that's one of my
Yeah,
problems
I
with
would
the
say
series.
they are sort of inherently slow.
Yeah, like
games.
it doesn't bother me
There's not
for
like
most of the part, but there is aspects of every episode where it drags a little bit. I think, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely stoked, and I'm really.
I'm excited,
This has pushed me to want to finish Life is Strange 2 before this comes out, so I'm excited. Even if
Let's
they're
do
not
it.
connected,
And we might as well say that they're going to remaster the first game.
we'll get to
they
that
are
in a bit,
they're
right?
they're remastering Life is Strange and Before the Storm.
Yeah.
And they look pretty good. They haven't shown much really of the games themselves yet,
Mhm.
but that's coming out in autumn as well, so around the same time as the new game.
I'm assuming it'll just come out on like the same day, right? Like September 10th.
I don't know. I
or-
don't think so. They don't want to cut into. They probably don't want to cut into those sort of
True.
profit margins and overlap them.
I don't think they
They'll
said
probably-
yet. Yeah.
But the thing is that they said autumn, and like September is at like the start of autumn, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of they can't. And if the new game is coming out September 10th, then I can't see them releasing it before the new game very much.
Hmm.
Which means it must be coming out
Yeah.
after, which feels kind of messy because you'd expect it to come out before.
Maybe. Yeah.
Just saying. Imagine how funny it would be if they just released the remastered version episodically again. like just a big middle finger up to fans. Like, hey, you've got a remaster now. We're gonna release that episodically as well. So
I'd be down
But-
for that one. See if they did it like one episode a week.
a week.
Well, that's what.
yeah,
Oh,
a week
yeah.
easy.
Well,
So, like,
that's what Tell Me Why did. I think it was like every week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I didn't play
a
Tell Me
week-
Why, but that would be good.
So
yeah.
so you want to turn Life is Strange into WandaVision, is what you're saying?
Or any
Ugh.
TV show ever that's not that show.
No, we're in
I-
2021
that's a,
now.
That's a very
I
standard
prefer to
TV
binge.
show thing.
TV's dead now. We
We-
stream now.
yeah,
Binge. I want to binge.
we don't. We don't want to talk about WandaVision on this podcast. No.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Um,
yeah.
No Marvel on this podcast. This is
Great
no
show.
Marvel
Great
zone.
show.
It's a great show.
It's fine. But
No
anyways,
superhero
yeah.
zone. Okay. Moving
No,
on.
Captain Falcon was
uh,
great today. Yep.
Look, Life is Strange
I haven't seen
has
that yet. I haven't
superheroes
seen that
in
yet.
it, okay? Life is Strange
No,
has
it does
superheroes
not.
in
It has powers in it, not superheroes. There's a
No, you have
difference.
not played the free game where
No,
they're clearly
wait,
a superhero.
To be fair, James, if you
I
had
haven't.
no context, you could have said it was an X-Men game, and you wouldn't even know. You would have known it was.
I don't know about that.
Like you had power.
That's
What do you mean? It was a secret, and they have
Imagine,
powers, and they're.
okay,
That's a stretch.
What do you mean? They
Just-
have to
just-
hide their powers, like you know what I mean? Like
But they're very
Just-
weird powers, and it's a very weird situation for
you
X-Men
obviously have
to
never
be in.
read comic books of superheroes like X-Men.
He has
just-
not.
just
No,
saying-
as far
saying-
as I'm sorry, Mitch, but as far as I'm aware,
No, no, it's
none of the X-Men are like teenage girls who are doing drama.
Jubilee?
Jubilee,
no,
Kitty
Rogue,
Pryde?
Jubilee.
Kitty Pryde?
Kitty Pryde. Like, James, stop.
Stop it.
You're talking to
I don't
comic.
know
You're
all
talking
the
to comic
X-Men.
nerds on the podcast.
All right. All right.
Anyway,
I-
I'm really excited
I-
for the remaster, and
yeah, me
hopefully I don't
too.
play these games again, because then I will cry and you will not see me.
Oh, okay.
I'm the
I will-
perfect
I
kind of
will
person
say,
for
though,
these,
just
for
to-
these. Sorry, Mitch. One last thing.
No,
I'm
that's all right.
I'm the perfect person for this kind of series because I'm a big sap. I get really invested in characters and really invested in story and dialogue and stuff. And so when stories like this happen where there's big emotional conflicts and it's done really well, which I think is one of the best things Life is Strange does. I mean, Before the Storm made me sob. I was, I think I've talked about it before, but it's one of the hardest I've ever cried to a video game.
Yeah.
It was such a good way to
Yeah.
and specifically the DLC Before the Storm.
It was
Before the Storm.
It was very surprising because honestly, in the grand scheme of things, that game was really unnecessary for like the story. But the writing in that game was so good that you totally forgot that the game was unnecessary. Like it legit was like right up there with the first game. Like I still think the first game is the best, but it was really. I was really impressed with the writing they did with Chloe and Rachel.
Yeah, I was as well. It was great.
No, Mitch, please tell me you haven't forgotten the thing that you were going to say.
No, I was just gonna say. To be fair, just to confirm, Square Enix is doing Life is Strange, right? They published the game.
Yes,
that's correct.
Hence the conference.
Yep. Yeah. Do they not also publish Avengers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And please take your microphone away from your mouth because it's very annoying.
Fine, but
Wakanda forever.
Wait, so what are you doing? Is it a crossover?
Can you not? Because we were talking about the
superheroes,
the X-Men conversation, superheroes.
Oh, okay. So now Life is Strange.
It's too late to transition.
Life is Strange is gonna be a crossover with the MCU. Okay, let's talk about this other game before we.
I can't believe
Stop.
I had to. I can't.
How
Believe
dare
I had
you
to
put
spell
Life is
that out
Strange
to
in the
you.
same sentence as Avengers? Let that game die. Let that game
You
die.
enjoyed that.
Let
Let the record show. You enjoyed that game's story, as did I.
I did. I
thought
thought it was solid. I thought it was solid.
Yeah.
It was the content after.
It was
I hate.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was the content after that suffered.
And there is more content coming after that.
Yeah,
And
Wakanda
after that,
forever.
and after
See.
that.
Yep.
They're going to keep pumping it
And
out until
And
people
I'll
buy
still
the game.
play it, and I'll still play it for some reason.
And you'll be the only
'cause,
one. It'll be a wasteland.
Yes, exactly.
There'll be
I fully
articles
expect
written
it.
about
Could be
you.
worse.
5
It could be-
years later, one man
could be
still
Outriders.
playing.
So.
Hey James.
No, I'd rather die than play Outriders again. No, I'm kidding. But
Now we're gonna have another.
I wouldn't even play Outriders if it came to Game Pass.
Here comes the
So
next.
wait.
Here comes the next negative comment. How dare you guys talk about
James, do you have
Yes.
a list of worst video game titles? Because I've got a good contender for you.
I think it's a good title, but please.
Oh,
I want to say that Forspoken is one of the worst fucking titles I've ever heard in my life. And if they go back to Project Athia, I will be excited and hyped for this game.
Just call it
It's a
Athia.
commercial. Just call it Athia. Just call it anything besides Forspoken. Yeah. Oh my god, it's like they got out a fucking George R.R. Martin glossary
To be
book.
fair, it does seem like they were at one point going to call it Magic, and I feel like this is a better title than
Copyright.
that. Or was it Witch? It was Magic or
Magic.
Witch. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Both
One
of
or the
those
other,
are-
but they both suck.
Still
All these
bad
names
titles.
suck.
Those are
This team
bad.
needs
This
a better PR person.
Well,
I think Forspoken's an interesting title.
the land is called Athia, so you can just call it Athia. So
I just
Yeah.
call it Athia.
I'm sorry. I should.
it's
I should clarify that what we're talking about now is the previously announced Project Athia that Square Enix showed at one of the PlayStation 5 reveal events, and it's now
I think the main one.
It got a new, very short trailer, and it's now called Forspoken.
I wish they had called it. Is that a fucking dragon?
that made me.
'Cause that
That,
would've been
cracked
great.
me up. That was such a.
That was. I rewatched that clip. I rewatched that 5 seconds because that was really funny.
Yeah.
Like she's like, "Is that a fucking dragon?" She's like, "Oh no, I'm in the Souls Light."
That was very Souls-like. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
Yeah.
So there wasn't much. There wasn't much
sorry.
information for this game within the trailer, but it does look gorgeous.
Oh, this game looks heat. This game looks amazing. Like the gameplay looks fantastic, and the performance and the environment like really stands out. Like this game looks fantastic. The name is not that great, but this game looks like a day one purchase right now. As
Mitch, I need to know where you stand on the name because I can't be alone here.
It's it's as for worst game title, it's between this and Immortals Phoenix Rising for me at the
Yes.
moment. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah, that's true.
James, you're just posh, dude.
You cannot
just
say
want...
you cannot say this is not as this. You cannot say this is as bad as Immortals
Forspoken,
Phoenix
yeah.
Rising.
it's
I would say
look,
Immortals
it's
Phoenix
one
Rising
word.
is better.
Okay,
It's-
sorry, no. Horizon Zero Dawn's also a bad title. I'm sorry.
What?
That's a bad title.
Oh,
yes,
fuck off,
it is.
Mitch. Fuck off
Yeah.
with the bad takes. Fuck off.
Yes. Horizon Zero Dawn, not a great
Just
title.
boot this man
And you
already.
pissed off-
First Life is Strange, now this. Just boot
This
this.
And you
is
Boot,
pissed
boot
off
this
their
man
entire
off
audience.
the podcast. We're done. Cut the
We just,
Patreon.
we just
Uh,
lost our
cut
entire
our
audience.
imaginary
I hope you know.
Patreon. When we start a Patreon,
Jesus.
you're not invited.
Okay.
I'll do everything I can to
Anyway,
make sure
what
you
it-
don't get a cent. You hear me?
Well, I
Does
mean,
it-
I was
Mitch
just
is
playing.
already lacking sense
Oh.
anyway, so.
Does anyone else
Uh,
have anything else to say on Project Athia?
Look.
great.
Forspoken, I don't like the title, but the traversal looks cool. The graphics look great. Like, I'm agreed with
So
Seb.
good.
I'm actually a little hype about this game, and I don't understand why, but I just like the way it looks. I like the way the character is moving. The graphics look great, so I'm interested. It's just the title
Do-
sucks.
Do we actually know what type of game this is? Like it's a third-person action game, I assume, but like, is it going to be like a Horizon Zero Dawn where like you're like shooting bows and arrows at the dragons, or
It
like,
seems
if
like
you're gonna
it
be
seems
in
like
a-
you've got magic spells, like Harry
Yeah.
Potter or something.
Yeah, I think she cast like a bramble or
I
something.
think she's a witch.
in the
I
first.
think it's a fair bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like witches.
I'll stay
Fuck.
tuned.
Wow. Okay.
It's a weird stance.
Oh,
That is a very weird stance, isn't it?
James. You
I don't
just
like their
make me-
pointed noise, their pointed noses
don't-
and their pointy.
James makes
hats
me
and-
Wanda sometimes.
How dare
Makes
they
me
with their
Wanda.
brooms?
I'm just saying, and I don't want to. This is not.
We should-
this
we
is
should
not-
throw water on all of
them.
I'm just saying this is not a Marvel podcast, but like, okay, that's I can't get into access spoilers, but I will say that there's like
It was James all along.
witches and that whole aesthetic of like like cackling and and cauldrons and broomsticks. I hate all that.
pretty.
I think that's awful. I think it's terrible. Not for me at all. So
What
Yeah,
a weird
no,
stance.
no.
What a
if
weird.
it has
Yeah.
any of that, I'm out. Okay.
Okay.
So,
to be
no
fair-
capes
to be-
and no witches. Okay.
Exactly.
No capes. No.
No
To
capes.
be fair, that I'm not that big into like magic. Like I'm kind of with James here. Like magic just isn't that interesting of a genre to me.
Mm.
Just because.
I mean, I don't
like,
mind magic. I don't mind magic. I just don't like the
That must
cackling.
just be. Oh yeah, the cackling definitely. But like, I'm just not a big fan. Like,
Wait, she
Harry
didn't. She
Potter
didn't even
does it alright,
cackle. Like,
but-
where do you get? What,
She's not gonna cackle.
but she's not like she's
you're
not
gonna have a game.
she's not wearing like she doesn't have green skin and a pointy hat.
She's
Like,
not
where are
gonna
you
get on
getting-
a fucking broom and go at the speed of
Like,
light.
why are you
talking-
why are you standing on this stance so much?
Mark my words, right? The next trailer is going to open with a cut to black and just a cackle.
I hate
For
this
the
so
main
much.
character.
She's like a soft-spoken,
Catherine
nice
Hahn.
British lady, and you're like making her out to be the Wicked Witch of the West or the North, what the hell it was.
Never before
mean-
since the Salem witch trials have witches been so oppressed.
Oh, James.
Wait, are we
James-
talking about
James
Wolf
definitely has
Engineer
an-
or Forspoken?
James definitely has an ancestor that went to Salem. Like he definitely has an American ancestor that went to Massachusetts and burned witches.
Oh my god.
Oh.
All right, let's move on before we break the podcast.
Let's.
What a fucking dragon. I'm watching the trailer.
Well, now listen, guys. We've got a community question
Ooh.
that we need to answer. If you'd like to
Ooh.
submit a community question, this is a new thing for us. So let's see how we do with this. But if you'd like to submit a community question for us to read on the podcast, then be sure to join our Discord server. The link will be in the podcast description. So this question is from friend of the show, Chris, from the Hello Hyrule podcast. Check it out on podcast
Hello.
apps, available now. And he asks, if you could pick one Sony exclusive franchise to get their Half-Life Alex moment with the new VR headset, what do you think would be a good fit? To be clear on Half-Life Alex moment, I mean a new entry in a somewhat dormant series that's given the love it deserves while pushing the VR medium forward in ways. I want to get out in front of this and say I don't want them to. I think Resistance would be a good fit, but I don't want them to do it because I just want another Resistance game. I don't want a VR Resistance game.
Well, a shooter is too easy. Like it's too easy of an answer.
Yeah.
Like there's a
I've-
million. There's a
I've-
ton of VR
yeah.
shooters now. So
I think I mean, I'm gonna come out with my first idea, or mainly my main idea here. It's gonna sound a little unconventional, but the Order 1886 I think could make a really
It's a good one.
interesting VR title.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, like because I think like a lot of people at least complained about how not necessarily how cinematic it was, but the fact that there was just too many cutscenes
Yeah.
where you weren't engaging with the game enough.
Yeah.
That if you transferred that over to VR and had the player interacting at all times, it could be absolutely it could be a whole lot better.
That's a
Not to mention like
yeah.
I don't think we have any werewolf VR games either, where like they can get up close and you're stabbing with them, and like that could be really interesting.
Resident
in
Evil
VR.
5. I mean Resident Evil 8. I think is gonna be. Is it gonna be
Yeah,
in
but
VR? Like,
They haven't announced it officially yet,
Yeah.
but if there are, then yeah, okay, I guess that does it. But
yeah.
no, I
No,
think
there's
I
not.
think
Yeah.
I think the Order 1886 could make a really
Yeah.
excellent VR
You know
title.
that universe really deserves more respect and more focus.
It really does.
the
It
gameplay
does.
was the worst part of the game, but the story concept of knights at a round table fighting vampires and
Hmm.
werewolves was so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I
yeah.
didn't even know that's what the game is about, but damn.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
The concept was better
Yeah.
than the game itself. But yeah.
What I think Action Bass
What?
is perfect.
A,
Action
a
Bass.
fishing VR game does it exist? Seriously,
Never been made before.
Probably. I think there was a
Hold
Final
on.
Fantasy. There was a Final Fantasy VR thing. that
That's
did
right.
fishing.
Hansen played that right
Mhm.
for it was Final
From
Fantasy
Max.
15. They had a fishing game.
Yeah, but Action Bass is a
Yes.
dormant franchise. Hasn't been around since the PS1, and a fishing VR game would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ticks
I
all
mean,
the boxes.
I can feel a lot of excitement in.
I
the
mean,
room
I live
right
in
now.
Florida. I can just fish like 10 minutes. Like I can walk 5 minutes.
But that would be you wouldn't catch it.
So-
Fishing's
so-
boring.
Well, I wouldn't. I guess I wouldn't get attacked by a gator in VR at least. So there's
Damn,
that.
James throwing the shade down on Seb.
James with the hot takes here today. I've if you haven't told, I've had 0 hot takes this episode at all. 0.
That's not
I just
true.
wanna
I'm
make
gonna tell
That's
you,
not
You're-
true at all.
Zero.
Mitch is
So
a
not
very
only are you
unreliable-
wrong like the whole podcast, now you're a liar.
I don't. To answer the question, Chris, it's a great question. I don't really have an answer because I'm not very familiar with VR, and I don't know. I can't think. It's hard for me to think of a dormant franchise I'd really want. in
Listen,
VR.
it's time for our first-person VR Souls game. It's time to. We need first-person Bloodborne
Ooh.
in VR.
that
that
would
would-
pass on that personally.
That seems like a great way
Okay.
to get me to accidentally throw something at my TV.
Get good.
I mean that could it could it could make a really good experience, like a little
Yeah,
short
I'm
like
curious
tech demo or something, like in Bloodborne especially. I think that could be an awesome.
Look, I know it doesn't
tech
make any
demo.
sense because it's a Nintendo game, but like, what if you brought back WarioWare and had that in VR? That'd be cool.
On PlayStation?
I know it's. I just said it. I know it's a Nintendo game. But
What?
it doesn't make any sense, but it's what I thought of. It's a dormant franchise. It'd be cool in VR. I know we're talking about PlayStation, but it's my idea.
Nintendo, Sony, let's get together. Let's make it happen.
That's right. Hey, weirder things have happened. Okay.
Well,
That's true. The Sony PlayStation, the Nintendo PlayStation. Look how that turned out. That's alive and well today. That's everyone
right.
loves.
it's
I love my Nintendo
it,
PlayStation.
it is an easy answer, but I could see a good Killzone game in VR that you could do well. Like, because there's nothing wrong with doing a VR shooter that's well done either. You know.
True.
This is a hard, kind of hard. Like I'm trying to think of like a good platformer that could be a fun like Astrobot kind of level game.
Jack and
Like
Daxter.
Jack and Daxter would be a good one. Or
Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper would be a good one. Yeah, Sly Cooper needs some love. So
He's lonely.
Okay.
I don't think Naughty Dog's gonna touch Jack and Daxter ever again.
They tried already,
So
and it didn't work for them. So.
yeah. So
Mm.
imagine going from
But hey-
from Last of Us Part 2 to Jack and Daxter again.
I
Jack
don't
just
think
gets really killed at the start.
I think
of the
they've
game.
really crossed the chasm into serious gaming. I don't think they can go back to Jack.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I don't think they could.
yeah.
Imagine
Or Crash.
We're kind of just steering off into another conversation though. But imagine just the public outcry, and everyone trying to cancel Naughty Dog, even when their next game is like Jack and Daxter 3 or something, or Jack 3 or something, whatever.
But it's like a big.
Jack 4 or Jack 3 they're up
But it's
to.
like a very violent,
4.
rated M version of Jack and Daxter.
I
Well,
would
then
love
again,
that.
that's kind of how Jack 3 and 2 were. Like,
I would love it if the main villain of Jack and Daxter 4 was just an overly muscled woman. That'd be great.
And then the whole game leaked before launch, and everyone was up in arms about how they were ruining their favorite platformer.
I can't believe they put a golfing minigame in Jack and Daxter.
I can't believe they killed Daxter in the first. No.
No, I mean, Dory, you bring something up. Like, how many golfing VR games are there?
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
that's a good point.
Everybody's golf. Oh, that's already a VR game.
Yeah, like Naughty Dog presents The Last of Us Golf Edition. You know, like, yeah, like bring Tiger Woods into the Last of Us universe. Why not?
That's true.
Yeah. Right. So, with that out of the way, I think that covers that, right?
Yeah.
I'd say
So-
it does. Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to back of the box trivia. So, Dor, you've got some games for us to
I
to guess
do.
at?
Yes.
Please take it
Now-
away.
Okay.
Show us the cases first of all,
Yeah,
just so we
no,
can have
not
a
gonna
little.
happen.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Okay.
Certainly not to you, Mr. Horizon Zero Dawn. All right. I'm going to go with what I think. I think it'll get harder as it goes, but we'll see. All right. This is the first time I've ever done this, so be nice. All right. The back of this box says, "The ultimate battle for blank is upon us. Team up with blank legends in the battle against blank."
Could you
That's it?
repeat that?
There's got to be more than that.
Sure. It's very short. The ultimate battle for blank is upon us. Team up with blank legends in the battle against blank.
Is there more on the
No,
box?
it's really short. I'll give other stuff too, though. It's E10 plus. There are alcohol references and fantasy violence.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts, easy.
Which one?
Yeah, I was going to say Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Seb, back me
Yes.
up here.
It's Kingdom Hearts
I
3.
felt
For
like you'd have that
alcohol?
one on hand.
I don't remember alcohol in Kingdom Hearts.
There's alcohol references,
You-
apparently.
You don't remember? I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, I'd say.
Yeah.
Pirates
is
of the
in it,
Caribbean,
right?
yeah.
Alice in Wonderland has drugs.
Yeah,
Can you
true.
read
Not
it?
explicitly, though.
Can you read it one more time?
No, James
Well,
already
we
got it. It's
figured it
Kingdom
out.
Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna,
Yeah.
no, because if
Trying to steal my answer?
no, because if it said they all teamed up, it was Kingdom Hearts 3. That's why I wanted to hear it one more time. So
Oh,
No, fair.
it's very short. All right. I figured y'all would get that really quick. All right, this one.
I guess not.
The back of the box says, "Leading an adventure for the first time, blank must confront her past and manage a tense partnership with blank as they race against a ruthless warmonger to secure the blank. Venture deep into, blank with with blank and blank as they discover the lost cities of the blank to recover the ancient artifact."
Tomb Raider.
Oh,
Nope.
That sounds
No,
like Uncharted Lost
Unchar-
Legacy.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh, I was just about
Seb
to say
got it.
that.
Seb
I was
got
about to
it.
say that. Damn.
Discover a world unknown. After a blank in blank is invaded by an otherworldly threat, you become the new blank, struggling to regain blank. From developer blank, this supernatural third-person action adventure will challenge you to master the combination of supernatural abilities, modifiable loadouts, and reactive environments while fighting through a deep and unpredictable world.
It's not Control, is it?
Alan Wake.
Seb got it. It's Control.
Yeah. That's not like
Really?
that's not
Yeah.
that's not a lot like Control.
I'm so close with all of these.
Yeah, he got he got Alan Wake, but they said she, so
Oh, I missed that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It could be Alana Wake. Who knows? You know?
All
All
right.
right, next one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's see. Set in the blank, a broken blank warrior embarks on a haunting vision quest into blank to fight for the soul of her blank. Created in I guess I'll say this part too. Created in collaboration with neuroscientists and people who experience blank. Blank will put you deep.
Hellblade.
Yes, Hellblade. Correct.
Boom.
Ooh, good one.
I'm not. Am I not good at this, or is this just too easy?
No,
No,
that's good. One more, right? We're 5.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the last one. Choose your path. It is 4,000 years before the blank, and hundreds of blank have fallen in battle against the ruthless blank. You are the last hope of the blank. Can you master the awesome power of the blank on your quest to save the blank? Or will you fall to the lure of the blank side? Hero or villain, savior or conqueror, you alone will determine...
Jedi Fallen Order? No.
Nope, not Fallen Order.
KOTOR?
I feel like I've...
Yes, it's KOTOR.
Yeah, the GOAT.
Really?
The GOAT Star Wars
Oh.
game. Yeah.
Ooh.
The GOAT.
I'm
very
surprised. I'm
nice.
surprised you have that on disc.
GOAT.
I know. I got it a few years ago, and from a friend up in Canada, and she was nice enough to give it to me.
We deserve a remake of that game. I know that. I think they're making it.
We really do. We really do.
That's the
Yeah.
best Star Wars game ever.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, with that out of the way, that's the end of our show. So, as I said earlier, please feel free to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast feed on your podcast app of choice, and give us a rating on Apple Casts or Apple Podcasts or Apple
Something.
listening things. Just whatever. Thanks for watching or listening to this episode of the PSPremiere Podcast, and we will see you next week.
Bye. We apologize for
Bye.
all witches
Farewell.
out there. Sorry.
I'm sorry, witches.
Which lives matter. cut out that last bit.
No, leave
cut
it.
cut that last
Put it
one.
on Twitter.
No.
How could you do this?
Wow, he's just
I mean,
drinking
look-
alcohol now.
See, this is why they censor
This is why
Disco
they banned
Elysium.
Disco Elysium.
This
This
is
is
your
why they banned
fault.
Disco
See,
Elysium.
this is what happens.
Mitch can't play Disco Elysium, so he's going for the
No,
next
I
best
can't.
thing.
See, I guess the prime minister, whatever the hell they have there, it was right all along.
Fucking Scott Morrison.
It was
Yeah.
Mitch all
All along.
along.